Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here in NHL 23. So last episode we had the draft and re-sign stage, and this team's prospect pool is starting to come together, which is exciting. Obviously this team is probably going to be a pretty good team in a few seasons, I think, maybe a little bit longer than that. But you can see we now have like Korchinski on the defensive prospect pool. We got Edvinsson, who we traded for, and we recently drafted Brunstrom, who is a 73 medium elite. I could sign this guy to his ELC if I didn't already, which I already did. Okay, so that's good. Didn't look like he was for some reason, but yeah, we got a lot of good prospects already on this organization, and I'm very excited to see what this team could do in the next number of years once these guys get growth and all that type of thing. So anyways, before we get into free agency and starting up the season simulation, I do have a number of comments to go over. So the first one is from Saturn Otako, who says, Chris Driedger would be a decent option that could play 1A, 1B with Comesso. Wouldn't be too expensive to bring in either, so you could put the rest of your free cap to towards skaters. So he's saying that bringing in Chris Driedger, which I think would probably also be a great option, because obviously we do need a second goaltender because we did let go of Peter Mrazek. And if we look here, you can see Chris Driedger's like an 82, and he is pretty cheap for a 30-year-old goaltender. So we'll sign him up for what he wants. We might actually give him a little bit more just to make sure we get actually to the cap floor. And yeah, he's definitely going to be a good goalie option for this team. He's even asking for less than Mrazek, and he's one overall better, and he is younger too, which is interesting too. So yeah, Chris Driedger is more than likely going to be our goaltending signing this offseason. The next comment is from Hockey Guy 88. He says, I would move out your older players with low cap hits and replace them with low quality players that have big cap hits. So he's basically saying getting rid of players like, let's take a look at our contract situation for a second, because I actually don't know which players he's referring to. So he's saying our older players with lower cap hits. So older players with low cap hits. So somebody like who has a low cap hit that's old. I guess nobody really. I mean, Dickinson maybe has one, I guess, because we could try and get somebody that's got a bigger cap hit in a sense. But I mean, I don't really know if we could actually really find people to trade for. Like, let's go look at the other teams for a second. Who's making a lot of money that is a low quality player? See if we could find any of these, because it's going to be kind of hard, though, I feel like, to do that. Like Blake Coleman signed for multiple years at 4.9. I guess that's kind of a bigger contract, but obviously I wouldn't want to trade for somebody like Blake Coleman, I don't think. I don't really know if I'm going to do that type of suggestion there, Hawks fan, but just because I don't really know exactly what to look for. Like, I feel like a lot of these players that are making a lot of money are actually good players. Like Brad Marchand's making $6 million as a 90. But then you go to like players like a 79, making 2.4 is pretty good, I'd say still. Like, it's kind of hard to find a specific contract. Like, maybe Silverberg's contract's pretty bad. He is making 7.5 for the next few seasons. But I don't think I really want somebody signed long term. I'd take somebody on like a 1-year deal. Maybe like Frank Vetrano, actually. 3.65 for 1 year and 82 is not really that great. I don't really know if we would trade for Frank Vetrano, though, because I don't think there's really the need to trade for him. Like, we trade Dickinson and we could get Vetrano maybe. But then that gets rid of a center and gives us a winger instead. So, yeah, well, actually, we don't really need all these centers. So we could trade Dickinson and do that. So let's see if we could do, like, maybe Dickinson for Vetrano just to get a little bit more salary cap in. It's not a huge difference, but let's try that out. Just because I feel like making maybe one move at least. We're going to do this before I get into the next comments, just because, or we're going to see if we can. They do want Dickinson, and Vetrano's got a little bit more value, it looks like, but let's just see if we could do straight up Vetrano for Dickinson. Rejected, okay. What else do you guys need? Just because we could get a little bit more of a cap hit here. Let's give them a 4th rounder from the Los Angeles Kings, since we have a lot of picks in this upcoming draft anyways. And that's accepted. So there we go. There's a little trade to give us a little bit more of a cap hit to the team. Not much of an upgrade, but I mean, we get rid of one of the centers that we don't need, and we bring in a winger in Vetrano for 1 year. I think that's an okay move. The next comment is from Relaxing Ghost. He says, this series is getting interesting now. Low sixes and low fours never develop. Now, what's interesting is I think low fours actually do develop, because Morgan Griffin in my Houston Draft to Glory series, he actually was a low four. But I guess maybe he was just a very unique player. So, yeah, I do think that low fours can actually pan out, but I'm not sure about low sixes, because I don't think I've ever seen a low top six forward become something really good unless they got a bunch of statistical growth and all that type of thing. And the last three comments are from Rebecca Weiss Woods. The first one says, I would go after Kane if you don't want to have the top draft pick. If it would move the right wing that starts with H all the way down to the AHL, which he needs another year down there. Hansen would be the perfect signing for you. So Kane, I don't think I want to bring him back, because I would rather have a top 5 pick or a top pick in a draft. So I don't think bringing in Patrick Kane makes the most sense. And also Halttunen is the H guy I think you're referring to, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just make sure on that front. Yeah, it is definitely. So we're going to give Halttunen some more time down there in the AHL for one more season, just so he gets that amount of growth that he needs, and then he'll be like an 80 something by next season, and maybe he could win the rookie of the year, which would be pretty enticing. So he had a really good year in the AHL, but to give him one more year in the AHL I think is a smart move. And then also Manson would be a perfect signing for me apparently, which I was thinking as well, just because of the fact, well, his father used to play in Chicago, that being Dave Manson, so it would be kind of cool to bring in Josh Manson, and he is kind of like a perfect fit for our top 4. Where was he? I don't want to start by alphabetical. I think he was like an 82 if I'm not mistaken, right? I think he's got to be down here somewhere. Unless I'm just blind. Maybe I should just player search him so I know where he is. Maybe he's on the trading block. And maybe he was on the trading block. I don't know, but let's search him anyways, just because I want to be able to find him off the bat. Okay, let's see. Where are you, Manson? Are you on the trading block? You are, okay. So yeah, we'll make a trade with the Colorado Avalanche to try and get in Manson. The question is, what are we going to have to give up to get Manson? Colorado should be still a contending team, so it shouldn't be that hard to get somebody like Manson in. Wow, they're trying to get rid of a lot of the defensive core, I guess. So Manson, what do they want in exchange from? Actually, I should just go to the trade finder here at this point, because maybe we'll actually be able to find a decent deal. Like maybe you'll just have to give them some picks that are later round. I don't really know. But let's see, what do you want there, Colorado? Let's see, they want Regula and Jones, Mitchell and Ratzlaff, Bonet and Ratzlaff, Tulipov and Jones, or McCabe and Ratzlaff. I need McCabe's cap hit, so I would be more interested in doing something like this one, probably, I guess, Ian Mitchell. But Ian Mitchell's been a good defender for us, so it's kind of hard to do that. So I might actually just have to find a trade on my own. Let me just go to this thing. Okay, so I just went with the normal thing. Tulipov and a 4th round pick, I think might be honestly a good option. Little on the 4th might make sense as well. When were some of these guys drafted? Or just a 3rd and a 4th round pick is even okay. We don't give up any prospects. We'd have no 4th round pick in 2026, and a 3rd rounder is a little bit high, but I think it's better at least in giving up like a 2nd and a 1st. So I think I'm going to do this trade, a 3rd and a 4th straight up for Josh Manson. He signed for 2 years, and he's making 4.5, so will keep us a little bit more afloat on the cap hit, and it also is a great addition to our defensive core. So we are going to do this trade, so welcome aboard Josh Manson for a 3rd and a 4th. And now our defensive core. Let's see who's on our defensive core to start the season. We got Gerard, we got Manson, McCabe, and Mitchell. And we got Regula and Korchinski. Evanson's probably getting more time in the AHL. Bonane's kind of like a 7th defenseman, I think. Or he might be a top 6 if Korchinski's not ready yet. But yeah, the defensive core is coming together for sure this season. So there is that. And then the next 2 comments from Rebecca also say, the first one says, it was Markstrom. He was originally with Washington. I wonder where he ended up in. Interesting. So yeah, I thought you were referring to Markstrom, but I wasn't sure because I didn't see him there. So let's try and find out where Markstrom is. I don't think I'm going to make a trade for Markstrom, but just because our defensive core is already full, but still would be an enticing player to bring in at some point if we really need him. And let's see. He's not appearing. He's not appearing in franchise mode right now for some reason, so he might have just randomly disappeared, which is kind of weird. So I don't really know what happened there. And then also, was it a few years ago, Boston had 3 picks in a row in the first round and screwed up their future, which now I remember. Obviously, that being the one when they took like Senishin and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure, is what you're referring to. So we had like 3 picks in a row, and now, or I guess Boston had that before. So anyways, that is that. Let's get into our free agent signings and sign ourselves Chris Driedger first, because we do need Chris Driedger, because we need him as our starting goalie. And I think I'm going to overpay him just because I want to make sure we get closer to that cap minimum and not have to deal with a lot of the stuff. So let's give him 1 year at $3 million. I don't care how much he's making. That'll drop us down to $23 million in cap space, which means we should probably sign still a couple more things. What do we really need? Probably not really much. But we should probably find something. Like, we could even sign like a really terrible overall player and just give him a ton of money to sit in the AHL or something. I don't really know. But we need to find a way to just keep this team kind of a cap float. So, let's see. Okay, we got a lot of centers. Yeah, we have so much forwards that I don't even think we need a forward. We got 6 defensemen. Do I let Korchinski play a year in the AHL? Because he's never played a year in the AHL at this stage. He's been playing a lot of hockey in the WHL. So I could sign another defenseman and let Korchinski play a year in the AHL as well. And then we could play Beaudin as a 7th defenseman. And then, yeah, basically Korchinski gets like top minutes in the AHL. I might be willing to do that. Let me just see. Yeah, I might be willing to do that just to kind of get us closer to the cap minimum. But I mean, Korchinski might actually be really good next season, so it might be kind of pointless. But we could find ourselves a better 7th defenseman in a sense. Maybe we trade away Beaudin and bring in a defenseman that's making a higher cap hit as our depth defender. Just to like do kind of what Hawks fan was saying. Because I don't think Beaudin's really going to develop much more. And he's probably not going to have much of an opportunity. He's a 77, it says at 24. He's making 2.2. Is there a defenseman that could be like our depth defenseman that's making a lot more money? Like, let's take a look at some salary cap hits here. As a depth defender, somebody that's like 77 or so and making a lot of money. Because this might be our best option. Yoki Haru signed for multiple years. Buffalo wouldn't want to give him up. Wait, let me check on Calgary. Let's actually sort by overall. 78, only making 790K. We need somebody with a good cap hit. Ethan Bear's making 4.49 for the next 4 years. That's way too much term, though. Gudis is making a good amount. Calvin DeHaan's making 2.7. That's a little bit more than what Beaudin is making. But it's not really a huge difference. We need to find somebody that's making a huger difference in terms of salary cap. Huger is not a word, but it doesn't really matter. Jake Gardner is making 2.8. But I don't know. That makes their defensive core probably too good. There's one, Erica Branson. There's a plug we could trade for. 2 years at $4 million bucks would definitely help us in the cap situation. And I do want to get rid of him. Well, it seems weird, but we might have to trade for Erica Branson here. Just to get us closer to that cap minimum. Like, he's not a good defenseman at all. Like, look, he was a minus 23 last season. In the AHL of all places. But, yeah, let's bring in Erica Branson. And then Beaudin, I think we'll have to trade him away at this point. I don't see any, like, chance for him to get into this defensive core in the future. So, yeah, we'll bring in good Branson. And we will see if we could add, like, a pick into this deal. We're making a lot of weird moves here in this offseason, but that's part of the game here. Let's see. I don't want to. I don't know about a 3rd rounder. Let's go for a 2nd for next year. See if I could get that. Probably not. No, too much value. I guess maybe a 3rd for the Islanders. That might work. We'll try it. Get Branson and a 3rd for Beaudin. That's rejected. Okay. Looks like I might have to get a 4th rounder, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Yeah, well, it looks like I could get a good Branson and a 4 for Beaudin. And then we'll get 2 point something more in cap hit. And then once we sign Driedger, we should be very close to being at the minimum cap. But we want to definitely find some maybe other players just to sign as like depth pieces to get us a little bit more over that. So that way we could actually make trades and all that type of thing. So Goodbranson in a 4th for Nick Baudin. That's accepted. So a little bit of a weird one there, but that should help us out in a salary cap type of thing, I'd say. So we do get rid of Nicholas Baudin, but we bring in Goodbranson. Such a weird thing to do. And let's go to free agency again for a second, and we will sign ourselves a couple players if we have the contract space, which we almost do not. Let's find ourselves some players. Let's go to, defenders. Not defenders. Let's just find anybody that's low overall, like 78, and just give them a bunch of money maybe. Even if they play in the AHL. Wow, okay. Nick Baudin wants like 2.35 million. I don't know why. He had 3 points in 3 games as a depth option, so maybe that's why. But we're going to give him a contract because maybe he can become a wild card. We'll give him exactly what he wants as well. Because 2.35 is a big cap hit, and he's not that great of a player, but I just want to find these type of pieces right now that we could add that want a decent amount of money, and we could give them that for 1 year to keep us a little bit more cap float. Not really interested in Pearson though. Zach Parise almost wants 2 million. But he's pretty good. I want somebody that's like a 78, 77, somebody like a depth forward. Dorofeyev, 1.7 for Adam Ernie. And it's not the highest. 2.325 for Jankowski. Let's do that. Those guys could be our depth forwards in the NHL this year. And that should definitely help us in terms of our salary cap stuff. So let's advance a few days and see if we get those 3 guys. Drieger especially. There you go. There's Drieger. Petan goes to Vegas. God damn you, Petan. And Jankowski accepts. So how are we in terms of the salary cap now? Because I want to make sure we're actually good into the cap floor. Looks like we hit the cap floor. But we might need 1 or 2 more signings. Maybe 1 signing at least. But I'm surprised Petan decided to go to a different team. Maybe he just wants to win the Stanley Cup at this point. Let's see, what do we got for 78s that want a lot of money? Just because I want to find 1 more depth forward that I could just give a good amount of money to. Terry's wanting a 2-way deal. All these guys want 2 ways pretty much, it looks like down here. Riley Sheehan wants over 2 million, so we'll give him that. And that should help us a little bit. And then we'll sim up to next season if we get him, which we more than likely will. And then we'll set up our team for next season. We might have too much players, roster players. Oh my goodness, Sheehan decides to go to Florida. Nobody wants to come to Chicago anymore, apparently. I'm giving them exactly what they're wanting to, but I'm surprised that they're getting offers from other teams. God damn. Okay, we might have to just find somebody and give them more money than they want. Let's see. Lettieri, no. Travis Boyd, why not? 1-year deal. Actually, a lot of teams are interested in him, which is kind of funny, but we'll give him like what the other players were getting just so we could actually get somebody in. Because I am surprised that we lost out on 2 of those players. There you go. Boyd is accepted. We got our team set up, I think. Let's get simming to next season and see what our team is looking like. A 2nd in Ludwinski for a 3rd and a 7th. And thank you. I don't think Ludwinski's going to pan out, but still. I don't know why a lot of teams are interested in Ludwinski and why he's getting thrown on the block. 2 seconds for Trouba and a 3rd. $8 million cap hit. That's pretty nice, but I don't want to be a competitive team. He'll make our defensive core too good, so. But that's an interesting one. Not accepting any of these trade offers unless something really crazy gets thrown at me, because we want to stay afloat with the cap space, and we do not want to risk ourselves getting into below that mark again, just because or else it's going to be tough to make some trades. Because that Tyler Johnson deal we made last season it took a while to get something like that. Okay, so Brad Lambert and Erica Branson are scratched. Obviously, I do not want Brad Lambert being scratched. Byfield got up to an 89 apparently, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if that's actually accurate or not. Athanasiou could go down to here. Tanev could go down to here. Zari shouldn't be an 83 either, but it looks like he might be, which is kind of crazy. I gotta figure out where I want all these players. Reichel's an 81. He's still listed as a depth guy. But Zari's listed as an 83 depth guy as well. So, how good is Zari's face-offs actually? 78. Boyd's only a 75. Huh, that's worse than I thought. Go with something like that, I guess. I do want Khrushchev to be in the top 6. Defensively, wow, our team actually looks really good this season. Like, I'm feeling like we could actually be a playoff team, and I don't really know if I want that. But, it's looking pretty solid. There we go. And goalie-wise, it's good. But I do want Brad Lambert in the lineup, but I don't know where the heck to slot some of these guys in. We could scratch Boyd, actually. Yeah, we could scratch Boyd and get Brad Lambert in the lineup. 74 on faceoffs, so we'll have him as a right winger. Yeah, our team looks actually really good, and I don't know why. Like, our center depth probably not the best, but you look at this roster on paper, we got Fiala, Byfield, Vetrano, which is a little bit weak. Actually, I could go with Athanasiou up there instead. And we got Khrushchev, Pedersen, there's Vetrano now, Kubalik, Reichel, Lambert, which is a really good third line, underrated. And then Olsen, Zari, and Tanev, which is a really good fourth line. Defensively, Gerard Manson, Mitchell, Korchinski, McCabe, Regula. And then goalie-wise, we got Driedger and Comesso, who will be splitting time this year. Goodbranson and Boyd as depth options, and then the AHL has a shit ton of players. Boris Kachuk, who could be up here as a depth option, so we'll leave him down there for now, but still. Frank Nazar is almost an NHL ready player, which is kind of crazy. Gavin Hayes is an NHL ready player pretty much. And Whistle Haltonen's an NHL ready player for sure, almost. Jankowski, who we signed, we'll probably actually call him up as a depth option. But literally, we have so many players on this team that I am scared we're actually going to be a playoff team. Very scared. Because this team, I don't want them to be a playoff team right away because we're only a few years into this. But we built up this roster quite interestingly fast. So let's go. Best lines down there for a second. Who is scratched? Anybody that shouldn't be. Burnstrom needs to be dressed for sure. That's our first round pick. Savoy could be dressed as well over Ludwinski probably. Yeah, I think it's better potential. I wouldn't mind playing Ludwinski though over Sakura, I guess. Yeah, we have way too many players. We might have to make some moves in the next episode to free up some roster spots, but Brunstrom... Wow, Caleb Jones even got sent to the AHL because of that. We have to probably trade away Caleb Jones, to be honest. I don't see any room for him to be on this team anymore. If he's going to get sent to the AHL like that. Now let's get Brunstrom in instead of Caleb Jones, because I think we might already trade him in this episode, to be honest. Because do we even have a spot for Caleb Jones to fit on this defensive core? Not really. Yeah, so I think we're going to have to trade away Caleb Jones here. Well, actually, what is his cap hit, though? Because I need to keep his cap hit if it's kind of high for now. What's his cap hit? 2.295 for the next few years. While Regula is probably not making that much. Yeah, he's not making that much. Regula is listed as a depth defenseman, though. I could call up Caleb Jones and let him play on the top 6 role. Or actually play Ian Mitchell in the top 6 role. Yeah, I think I'm going to scratch Regula and call up Caleb Jones because I need to have that cap hit still. But he might be a trade bait option, to be honest. So we will call up Caleb Jones. Which should be good. Wait. Over the player limit. We need to send somebody down, though. Yeah, there's nobody I want to send down out of that bunch. Unless I send Regula down, but I don't think I want to do that. Let's just leave it the way it is. That's our team for the upcoming season. That's our team. But I do think Caleb Jones is on the chopping block. And then the AHL is just way too good. Kachuk is literally probably gone after this season. I don't even know. But Holton's going to get top line time with Nazar, which is awesome down there. So there you go. There's our team for the start of the season. Let's simulate a little bit. Not too much because I don't want this team to be too competitive out of the gate. Obviously, having bad coaches should help this because I think we brought in a bad coach, didn't we? Oh, wait, did we not assign our scouting stuff? Yeah, we didn't do that. God damn it. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot to change our scouts and stuff like that. So we'll have to do that next offseason. But, yeah, our coaching staff's not that great, which is good. But, yeah, we definitely need more scouts, or better scouts, so we'll have to do that next offseason. I meant to do that this offseason, but there was so many different things happening all at once that I forgot about that. So let's start simulating a little bit. We'll simulate maybe the first 2 months, so like to December the 1st, just to see how this team does. And then, yeah, hopefully this team doesn't simulate too good. But I think we're actually going to be a pretty solid team this year, unless a lot of these other guys that are like 83 are actually not that high, because maybe it's just for preseason growth. Brandon Tanev literally led this team in points. That's not a great sign. Interesting. Don't think that's going to happen in the regular season, but you never know. Let's see about regular season. Let's go to December the 1st. So we could get at least a good chunk simulated, and then we could see what this team is made of out of the gate. Hopefully we do not do too good, though. I wouldn't mind Comesso and the younger guys doing good, but the old veterans I wouldn't want to. And wow, we're off to a really bad start. Maybe it's the coaching staff, like you guys said. We win our first game after only like 8 games played, so never mind. Our roster looked like it was going to be good, but apparently it's not. That's a good sign. And Chris Drieger's been injured already, which is not great. So we're going to have to call up a goalie from the AHL, which is going to make our record worse. So Soderblom is going to get called up, and he's likely going to go through waivers afterwards when we send him back down. But he'll probably end up getting claimed, my feeling is. But who knows? So Comesso is now going to be the starting goaltender, and Soderblom the backup. And then Mikkelson's going to get the play with some random AI signing, which is Ovechkin. It's kind of funny. So there we go. But yeah, our team's not actually doing as good as I thought they would out of the gate. Only 1 win in their first 11 or 12 games. Sam Girard wasn't injured. And Drieger is back just like that. So Soderblom, you're getting sent right back down. Let's see if he gets claimed. Hopefully not. He did not get claimed. I am actually surprised. He's a 79 overall goaltender, so some teams could probably use him as a backup. But he did not get claimed. That is good, because that still gives us at least another goaltender in case. So there you go. Looks like we're still losing games. Oh, now it's not even showing me anything about this. But yeah, we're doing terribly. It must be the coach. It must be the coach. Which is kind of funny, because his team doesn't look that bad. And now Drieger's been injured again. God damn it. Goalie injuries now too. So actually we're going to keep Drieger up here, obviously. Soderblom comes up, and he's going to once again be in the NHL. But yeah, this team is not doing too good. This might be the worst record I've ever had at the start of season, but it's probably because of the coaching staff. So shout out to you guys that said that the coaches actually matter in terms of how you simulate, it seems like, because maybe that is the case with this team. There's our second win of the season, and it comes like that late, which is kind of funny. And once again, Drieger is back. Soderblom, you're going back down. And this time he goes through waivers again. I'm surprised nobody's claiming him, but that's okay. Don't want anybody to claim him just yet, but at some point we'll have to probably let him go. Or maybe use him as a backup, who knows. Game in St. Louis, there's a 5-0 win, so we get 2 wins this month. That's huge. And we are going to be, what was that? Last one, 6-1. So we 3-17-2 in our first 22 games of the season. So we're not going to be a playoff team, I could say that for sure. And our leading point getter is our youngster, who's only in his 2nd season, I think, and Pettersson, who's got 12 points in 22 games. So our offense is absolutely horrific this year. Like, let's take a look at this team stats so far, because I'm curious on this front. So yeah, we're doing way worse than everybody else. We're only averaging 1.64 goals per game. Kind of weird. We're allowing 4.23 goals per game, so we're the worst offensive, worst defensive team. We're the 3rd worst on the power play somehow. And our penalty kill is also the 3rd worst. We have not won a game on home ice so far, and we're 3-6-1 on the road. I was not expecting that this season, to be honest. With the way the roster was shaping up, I did not expect this. So Pettersson, 12 points in 22 games, not too bad so far. Kurashev's got 10 points. Lambert's got 9 points. At least some of the youngsters are doing good. Byfield's got 7 points only. It's kind of weird. Reichel, 4 points only, which is kind of weird as well. Zari, 3 points. Kubalik, 8 points. Athanasiou, 7 points. Fiala, 7 points. Tanev, 5. Olsen, 1 goal only. and Vetrano 7 points. So based on our forward core, we only have 2 players that are above 10 points. So I don't know if it's a good thing that we have bad coaches, because maybe we need a good coach for these guys, because I feel like these guys should be doing a lot better. This is the lowest scoring team I think I've ever seen. Gerard's got 7 points in 22 games, and last year he had 59 points. So Korchinski's got 3 points, McCabe 3 points, Regula and Manson 2 points, and Mitchell 1 assist. Goalie wise, both of them have 1 win apiece. Camesto's been the better of the two. Save percentage and goals against wise. What the heck is happening to this team? Is it a morale crisis or what? Like, it's just weird. Like, our AHLers are doing not that great either, it looks like, point production wise, but oh well. Well, this is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Don't think I've ever seen a team do this bad, but it's good because it will definitely help us tank for whoever's first overall this year. So let's take a quick look to end this episode at the draft class. I don't know if we're going to be able to trade any players this season because a lot of our values are probably going to be going down in the tubes. Next episode will probably simulate up to the trade deadline. So we won't do the trade deadline in the next episode. And our scouts aren't doing a good job here because of the fact that I didn't sign new scouts in the offseason. But Asher Vance is the #1 pick apparently. And then there's Tikhonov and Misa. So these guys could be elite. One of them could be a franchise player. We don't know too much this early on. But this is a draft class in case you guys wanted to see some of the names out there. So there you go. And I think that's almost it. Let me actually show you guys the contract situation so you guys can see who we could potentially trade away if we actually want to trade players away. Or if we can trade players away. So like Dom Kubalik's like the best one that's a UFA. There's also McCabe, Vetrano, Tanev. The RFAs obviously would all stay. Travis Boyd, who we just signed recently, but obviously we probably are going to get into trouble with the cap floor again, I'd say. Like, how close are we to the cap floor? We're a little bit above it, so we might be able to move out at least one player, which would be somewhat beneficial for this team, I think. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So in next episode, we will simulate up to the trade deadline. We'll see if this team actually can win more games than 3 games in their first 22. And let me know what you guys think down below. And I'll see you guys next time.